Hi guys, this is my channel about home brewing, and if you are new to this channel, please consider becoming a subscriber. Today, yes, I'm cheating, it's Saturday, but I wanted to do this last night, but I wasn't prepared to do it. But it looks like everyone else is like stretching this over the weekend and onto like Cyber Monday, so why can't I? Have to turn down the audio. It's always something, isn't it? So today the plan is to try 3 Black IPA, because this is gonna be like the 5th part of my Black IPA mini series. So that's the plan, to taste 3 different Black IPAs, compare them. I'm gonna do it one by one, but yeah, and talk more about Black IPAs and what to think about when brewing Black IPAs. So, have you ever brewed a Black IPA, or have you any experience brewing Black IPA, tasting Black IPAs? What do you like in a Black IPA? Comment down below in the live chat. So I was thinking that I'm gonna start with the commercial one. The one I found is from a brewery here in Stockholm. It's getting hot already, sorry. It has been a little hectic. Okay, getting rid of some clothes. So, setting up for a live event is a little bit hectic, but I hope everything will be working today. I hope anyone actually sees this. So, should we open the first beer? Yeah, let me go and get it. Woo! Almost fell. So I have a wine fridge down there. So this is the NAUT Black IPA from Modernist Brewery. Hello Espen, hello. So good to see that you found this live stream. Didn't prepare so much for it as I would have wanted to do. So Espen, we're going to try out 3 different Black IPAs tonight. This is the Black IPA Friday special on a Saturday. Äntligen lördag. So the NAUT Black IPA. Explore the dark side of IPA. NAUT is a Simcoe, Cascade, Bravo and Mosaic hopped Black IPA, fermented with American West Coast yeast. A trip into the darkness where full-bodied malts and a long lingering bitterness get contrasted with smooth hop aroma. It sounds nice. And this is quite strong. I'm getting a little bit worried because maybe all of them will be strong. This contains barley and wheat malt. That's it. And of course, the hops. The Simcoe, Cascade, Bravo, Mosaic. Yeah. So Espen is making some chicken burgers. Cheers Espen. You have anything in your glass? So let's crack this one open. Like label out. Nice hiss. It doesn't look very bad. Very bad. It looks like a gusher. And guys, this is the commercial one. Need to get some wipes. So sorry. Need to get some wipes. as you saw, home brewers aren't the only one that can produce a gusher. And so this is like very, very, very carbonated. I don't have a flashlight today, but I do have my phone laying around, so I would use that. Yeah. So it's super carbonated. And hello Tuna. We're trying 3 different black IPAs tonight. Gonna start with the commercial one from Modernist brewer. It's a brewer here in Stockholm, Sweden. And it was a gusher. So it's extremely carbonated. Let me see what I can pick up through this massive head. I wanted to like add some more stuff here. I did add the Black IPA sign, Black Friday sign, and I got the proper chat to work. So that's a big step for me. Yeah, but I had some, of course, major plans, but baby steps, baby steps. Who can learn from the doctor? The Modernist brewer, you mean, Espen? Okay, it smells like a black IPA. I do get like the pininess, some maltiness, but it's a huge head, so it's hard to pick up anything. Gonna try to see if we can even manage to get a sip out of this one. Okay, so nice that you like the chat layout, Espen. Okay, the beer, it's a very foamy head, and should we try to shine through it as well? I have been bombarded with what you say, stuff on my phone. There are some Swedish homebrewers that are having a discussion about making a pilsner. Megaton Brewing, #1 beer style. Yes, I love a good black IPA, and today I have the fortune to try 3 of them. This is the commercial one. I'm gonna turn on the flashlight, see if we can see anything.
Hallå! Idag
Oj!
så kul!
Satte igång some Swedish there. I accidentally started a video with Espen, by the way, who's in the chat. I think it was his sous vide video. So this ain't good looking. It looks like mud water. I don't know if it's bottle fermented, if it's bottle conditioned. so the yeast got kicked up, but it doesn't look black when you shine on it, and yeah, it looks like muddy water. Yes, it does say it does say something about the ingredients. We have barley and wheat malt, and on the hop side we have Simcoe, Cascade, Bravo, Mosaic, and was fermented with American West Coast yeast. Yeah, LT did a SUS video. He released it yesterday. He did some pulled pork in his grandfather, so you can watch that if you wanted to try something like that if you have a brew system. Cheers, Espen. Okay, so this is too boozy. Of course, it has some bitterness. It ain't that sweet, which I like, but it's a little too boozy. It's not sorry, gonna hold it up so you see it. It's not a very good black IPA, in my humble opinion. The NAUT. So I think it's too strong. I found that like the Goldilocks zone for me with the black IPA is around 6%. If you're going like 7.5, you could get some booziness, like in this one. If you want to do IPA, a black IPA with a higher ABV, I would change out some malts for some sugars or rice or corn, something like that. West Coast yeast is an interesting choice. Well, it's very clean, so I mostly get like booziness and some malt sweetness, and it's quite bitter, and it's very boozy. Hey Bannelind, Basement Brewery. Öltid asks, what would you say is the trickiest making a black IPA? The dark grains versus the hops to balance it, making it a bit roasty but still hop forward. For me, I think a black IPA shouldn't be really about the roastiness so much, and shouldn't really also be like a tropical juice either. Somewhere in the middle. By using dark roasted grains like midnight wheat and dehusked grains like Carafa 3 to like a normal sized 23 liter 5 gallons batch, adding like 300 grams of carafa 3, or that would be like 11 ounces, I hope. Into that will make it very dark. You could push that even further, adding some more. And if you do it the way I do it, you add the dark grains at mash out. For my black IPAs, I do a 10-minute mash out, and sorry, this is very, very carbonated. When I hit my mash out temperature, which is usually around 76-ish, 75, 76, something like that, I do a 10-minute rest. That means that I hold the temperature there for about 10 minutes. So in the when I hit the temperature, I add the dark grains, and because they get so little steeping time, I grind them up with a coffee grinder. So I take full benefit of the time they are being in the mash. So you could do the same thing. You don't really maybe have to do that when you're using the carafa 3 or midnight wheat or wheat malt, something like that. But if you're using black malt, if you're using chocolate malt, if you're using roasted barley, something like that, try it that way. You won't get any stringency at all. And that's not just for black IPAs. I do that with all of my dark beers. So even if you're doing a stout, if I'm doing a stout, I do a 20-minute steep, or if it's porter, like a 20-minute steep. If I'm just out for color, I usually add it at sparging the dark grains. Megaton Brewing, balance is tricky. Well, yes, balance is tricky. What you want to do is to, as I said, try like to 300, or if you want a little bit more of the roasted grains, and add them at mash out. Try to sit at 6%, and aim for a bitterness ratio about 1 to 700 for a black IPA. That's a try that and see what you get. In my Black IPA mini series, I also share my best Black IPA recipe. Also taste one of my Black IPAs, which ain't my best, but it's better than this one. Okay, let's see what Öltid wrote. Yes, Öltid have done the steep with all his dog's beers after he have seen it in my video long back. He really likes it. He missed the smell from the dark grains in the mash, but liked the result better. Yeah, and the thing is, when I started brewing, I made like 3 beers, 3 partial mash beers. The first one was Hefeweizen. I think the second one was porter, and the third one was an American Pale Ale. Or the second and the third was the other way around. I bought this 4-liter kit, 1-gallon kit, and it had some steeping grains, and it had 500 grams of DME, a whole pack of yeast, and some hops. So that was my first 3 batches. And the recipe on the porter, this is the important part here. The recipe on the New Zealand, Diane Ross, cool. Öltid, of course you should make a black IPA. Let me get back to the story. The recipe of the porter and of the wheat beer and the pale ale. It had some steeping grains and it came with DME. And I'm from Sweden, by the way. Diane Ross from New Zealand, awesome, from the other side of the world. I have to get back to the story. So the recipe called for like a 20-minute steep, and it was in the porter a little bag, I don't know how much, I can't remember, a little bag of chocolate malt, and I stepped that steep for 20 minutes, and then added the DME, did the boil, added the hops, cooled down, added the yeast, fermented the beer, got it into bottles with some sugars in them, and then I waited and drank the beer, and it was very good, smooth porter. But after 3 brews, I got into all grain. I bought my brew system, the same I have now. This is like Mark II. My brew system, my brew system is a Brewcrafter BK25 or 35, it might be called. This is like a Mark II. It's not sold anymore. I bought the Mark I, but it broke down on me, so I got a new one on the warranty. So after 3 brews, I went to full batches and all grain. So I never did the kit route. I have tried brew kits after I went to all grain, because I think maybe I just missed something, because I heard that most of the guys started with kits and moved forward, but I almost at once jumped all grain. I can say I did 3 4-liter batches, that 12 liters, 3 gallons totally. Then I went to 5-gallon batches of all grain. But back to the story. Sorry, guys. When I brewed my first porter, I followed the guidelines and added a lot of chocolate malt to the mash, and what I got was a very astringent, harsh beer that needed very long time of conditioning to be drinkable even. So that's when I tried to experiment, and I did my research, and I find, of course, the Germans already were on top of it, and they were doing this thing called top mashing, where you add some of the grains in the end instead to reduce this problem. Because the thing was, when I took a sample of the chocolate malts, I chewed them, it tasted exactly like the beer, so I knew that I wasn't doing anything wrong. If you want that taste, try it. Take a few grains of chocolate malt and chew them. If you like that taste, please do a full mash with them. But if you want smooth beer, if it's a stout, if it's a porter, if it's a darker lager, if it's a black IPA, do top mashing. Add it at the end of your mash, or add it at sparging. I also tried cold brewing, like cold brewing it and the day before, you can do that. But that's more hassle to just throw it in the on top of the rest of the mash at the end of the mash. Let me see if something happened in the chat. Lots to learn by making own recipes, Öltid writes. Yes. Yes, when I started out brewing, of course, I didn't know anything. I've read a lot and trusted very much that I read, but I find out now that much of the stuff that people were telling me and people were doing, that didn't work for me. So I've tried to question everything and try it out. I've done a lot of experiments. If you follow my channel, you know I do some stupid stuff, and I do stupid experiments here on the channel, and I think I mainly do it. I do it because I'm interested, but also think I'm obligated to do stupid experiment stuff on my channel. Yeah, so I do like it, but I do it because I have the opportunity to share the experiment with it. I think if I hadn't done this YouTube thing, I wouldn't have done as much as experiments, because I don't have any friends to share this with. No one really around me brews. My brother brews, by the way, but no one really else. I picked up some friends along the way due to this YouTube thing. I have a lot of new Swedish friends. Many of them are here in the chat, like Tuna and Bernelind and Espen, or he's from Norway, by the way. I also have got in touch with people, a lot of UK brewers, which I have met twice, and one of them is Timmi Jenkins, and I'm gonna try his beer today. I met him this summer for the London Craft Beer. So Timmi Jenkins, if you are watching this, cheers. Let me see what Espen wrote. I think the beer needs less aging when top mashing as well, and of course another roastiness. Win-win. A smoother roastiness, sorry. Of course, smoother roastiness. Yes. When you do top mashing, you don't have to age it as long, or maybe not at all, really, if you have all of your other stuff going right. I haven't really had a good Black IPA. I haven't really had a good Black IPA from the store, and I have been bitching about this for a very long time. But the thing is, I don't think it's really something bad with this brewery, how they brew, but it's a problem with how beer gets stored. I don't store my beers warm, and if anyone sends me beer, I will put them in the fridge as soon as possible. And if I buy beer, I will store them cold. But this bottle of craft beer has been sitting. Yes, it said here, store upright, pour gently to avoid yeast. Yes, but this is an overcarb gusher, so it doesn't really matter. But there we have it. So that's why it's not so good looking. very active, Espen, here in the chat. The English speaking community is big, but we have a growing community here in Scandinavian as well. Really fun. Yes, they are so much ahead of us, the UK fellows, and the international brew tube. I forgot about my Canadian friends and my New Zealand friends and my Australian friends and my American friends as well. And we have some brewers in Denmark and Finland, which I communicate with. Also Netherlands and Hungary and Estonia. I of course I'm missing some, and I also like in the comments I also get in touch with people from Asia and all around the world. So it's really awesome having this big like community where we learn from each other and watch each other's videos, and we also have, if we can, some gatherings. I have been, like I said, to London 2 times, and we had this Swedish gathering. We had this Swedish gathering this spring. Time flies, guys. Let me see what we have in the chat. Banded Basement Brewer. A gusher can also come from a lot of particles in the beer and doesn't have to appear from overcarving. Interesting. But this was very carved beer, Michael. A gusher can also come from a lot of particles in the beer. Yes, I have to give that a really good thought, what you mean. How would much particle in the beer make it gush? Do you like the Black IPA sign? So almost out of the first one, the NAUT. I haven't had any of their beers. I picked up another one. I'm gonna try that for another day. Maybe not on camera, because this channel is mainly on. This is mainly about homebrews, but sometimes we do need to get a commercial bottle in there. So I think it would fit this to try a commercial bottle. What hops do you recommend in a Black IPA? Well, I do recommend the pine hops, like do Chinook, like these dark hops. Chinook, did I say Chinook? Simcoe, maybe Willamette. You can add even whatever you want. Cascade. But try to brew with a blend of Chinook and I said Chinook, Simcoe, Willamette, like woody hop. Yeah, okay. I would recommend those 3: Chinook, Simcoe, Willamette. We can go Chinook, Cascade, something like that. And for yeast, you can do like anything. I would maybe do it with a clean American ale yeast. I brewed a couple of black IPAs. Or at least 2. No, I brewed 3 actually. Yeah, I brewed 3 black IPAs. How about the hop schedule? Well, you have to think about your bitterness, your IBU to OG ratio, and I'm not really like a strong believer in like adding hops at different times will do so much to it really. So I calculate my hops from the end to the beginning. So I maybe do like a 10 minutes and a flame out maybe for a black IPA, and if I want more bitterness than that, then I add some at 60. So I would calculate it from, like I said, from the finish to the start. And there are also some people talking about getting bitterness from dry hopping. I haven't really gotten that. I am one of the spokers for dry hopping before the end of fermentation and when you like ramp up the beer. But there are some people that are talking about they're getting very like bitter beers from that, but I have never experienced that. So they are cooling it down to like 14C, something like that, and then dry hop. That to me doesn't sound really right, but because when you're adding the hops, you can add some oxygen as well to it. You are adding oxygen to it, and you need the fermentation to scrub out the oxygen. So what could happen is if you dry hop in a lower temperature, you could get like diacetyl and even acetaldehyde flavors in the beer if you are unlucky. Of course, you don't have to get it, but it is a chance that you will get that if you cool your temperature down and then add them. If it's like a really big hoppy beer, maybe you will not notice the acetyl and the acetaldehyde, but there is a chance for that because you're introducing oxygen, and oxygen can start a second fermentation when the yeast find oxygen. And if you're not letting the fermentation to the new fermentation to really ferment out, you can have some of those compounds left. But if you're instead doing it the way I recommend doing it, adding your hops at not after fermentation, but in the end of fermentation, when you're starting to ramp up the temperature, the yeast will scrub that oxygen that you introduce into the beer. That's really about hop schedule, I think. Hope it gave some insight. Interesting. Think the same thing, says Espen. Never understand how to put hops in 30, 20, 15, 10, 5, 2, 1. No, I think that's doesn't make any sense. So you can add like all the hops if you want at flame out. Really, it would give you both aroma and taste. And if you need more bitterness, add it at 60 really. But I usually, when I make a beer like this, do like 2 editions, and if I want to, I do another one at 60. I've done a lot of beers. When I do like IPAs and use high alpha acid hops, I seldom do a 60-minute edition. Okay, so first beer is done, and that was the NAUT, the Black IPA. Explore the dark side of IPA. NAUT is Simcoe, Cascade, Bravo, and Mosaic hopped Black IPA, fermented with American West Coast yeast. A trip into the darkness where full body malt notes and long lingering bitterness get contrasted with smooth hop aroma. It did have a long lingering bitterness, and 7.5%. It's too strong. It tastes too boozy, and I really can't say that I pick up all of those hops. But there you have it. I don't know how it tastes like fresh from the brewery. This is best before 3rd December 2018. So, and today it's oh, flashlight still on. Today is 24th November. So maybe it's old. Maybe it's because of that. It was a gusher. Doesn't say when it's brewed. Interesting thoughts, Jonas. Yes. Hope so. Okay, so gonna go and rinse the glass, and then we will try the first homebrew. So I'm gonna play some music in the meantime. Be right back. Okay guys, glass is rinsed. How long can you call it a black IPA before it's a stout? If it turns into stout, you have brewed the wrong beer. a black IPA will never turn into a stout. There's this thing called like American stout that might turn into a stout, but if your black IPA turn into a stout, you brewed the you brewed the wrong thing, I think, because there's quite a difference between a black IPA brewed right, in my opinion, to a stout that's been brewed right. So the next beer is from Timmi Jenkins. I don't think that Timmi Jenkins has a channel, but I put a link down to his Facebook page in the description, and also also linked to my London Craft Beer Video this year, where I met Timmi. Timmi Jenkins is known for brewing like very strong beers. He's also known for his hops. He's like buying in like huge amount of hops and repackaging them and sells them to everyone but me, because I'm not from UK. So fresher is better. They all end up as stouts, don't they? No, they don't all end up as stouts. So fresher is better, I guess. Black IPAs. What I found, and many other people have commented on this with black IPAs, is that they really stands the toll of time. So they do have a very, very longer shelf life than an ordinary IPA. And the idea is, or my idea is, that's because of the dark grains. The same grains that can cause a gusher. So we have some very complex sugars in the dark grains that I think are like continuing to ferment. That's why you can get a gusher from a dark grained beer, like a stout and a porter and a black IPA. So the dark grains conserves it, because the yeast gets something to chew on, and there's also that thought that the dark grains can be an antioxidant as well. But I think I'm onto something there, because if you are brewing like a bigger dark grain beers, you often don't have to add any sugars at all to it if you are planning to bottle condition it over a long time, like many people do when they are adding the dark grains to the mash. Okay, Timmi's beer. It's called Black IPA, 6.3%. And yeah, that's a bit funny, because Timmi Jenkins is known for brewing like very, very strong beers. Has a very good reputation in the UK, Timmi Jenkins. And Timmi, your ones is the weakest here today. So let's crack this one open. It's not a gusher. It's not a gusher, folks. But we did have a hit. So it comes in a plastic bottle, which is good, because I also try to ship my beer mails in plastic bottles. Okay, that's my fault. Okay, so I did have a little sip there. Let's give it a nose. And for this one, I also have the recipe, so we're gonna check the recipe as well. Jonas Walker, BSB Homebrew. It would be interesting to see how our Ace of Spades Black IPA will be when we store it. We have some bottles left in the shelf. Yes, very interesting. My guess is that it's hold up much more better than you would have thought. So go and get one, Jonas. Öltid, get it in ya. Okay. Okay, so it's not like very much on the nose. But it's a very good looking beer. Let me shine through it. Let me pick up my phone. Okay, so it's not pitch black. This is a little bit muddy as well. Looks better when you don't have a flashlight on it. Okay, so it is a little bit like muddy looking, this one also. But I do think it looks better than the other one. Okay. So this is much less on the nose than the other one. Cheers. Yeah, it looks black on camera. It looks quite black in real life also, but when I put a flashlight to it, at least you don't see it the way I do. Let's see if you can see it. Sorry, wrong way. Can you pick it up that it's not black, it's dark, muddy? How do you shut off the flashlight? There. Okay. Skål! I couldn't get the flashlight off. Now it's off. Okay, Timmi. Maybe Timmi is not online, but maybe he will watch this later. And I just realized that I did like press the stream button long before I pressed the public button on YouTube. So that would mean that it's gonna be like a long intro. So I have to take the video down after this and cut the beginning, and that will take like for ages to render. Yeah, some very dark brown color I would call it, but it's a little bit muddy. It's not a clear beer, but if you don't shine through it, it looks perfect. So you don't really have to shine on it. It's doing it for the show. Cheers. This is a very refreshing beer. It's very clean tasting. Quite balanced even. It's a little bit thin, and I can't believe it's 6.3%. We'll go through Timmi's recipe and see what he did. it's like very smooth, no astringency. It has a lot of like hop flavor to it. Not so much maltiness. It has a little bit of sweetness, but it's on the bitter side. I think this beer did ferment out a little bit more maybe than it should have. It's a good beer. It's much better than the commercial one. This is on like 6.3%, and yes, Chrysler, flashlight. No, sorry, flashlight. Flashlight, not flashlight. Sorry. Should we have a look at Timmi's recipe? So this is like a dangerous beer. This will like Jessica says on Jessica and Brad, if you have a look at them, this could get you this could get you pregnant. Not a flashlight. Okay, so let's have a look at the recipe. I have it here on the computer. Okay, so this, I don't know actually how big how big the amount of this beer, how many liters the batch is, because he did a 28 liter mash and an 8 liter sparge, so that's quite a lot. What could that be? So now maybe it's not so much anyway. Maybe it's like a normal sized beer, looking at the recipe. So I'm guessing it's like a 23 liter batch or 5-gallon batch, whichever you prefer. So he used 4.5 kilos of pale ale malt and 250 grams of wheat malt, 500 grams of caram malt, like there's a lot of 300 grams of midnight wheat malt, 300 grams of Carapa 3. There's a lot of roasted malts in this one. And, well, the OG was 1062 and the FG was 1014. So 1014 ain't a very, very fermented out beer, but it's really dry. I mean, not dry, but yeah, it's like a thin mouthfeel to it. But don't get me wrong, this is a really, really good beer. For the hops, he used 20 grams of Chinook at 60, and at 50 minutes he used 50 grams of Amarillo. Okay, also some yeast nutrient and finings. And at flame out he used 50 grams of Citra, and then he, if I get the recipe correct, he chilled it down to 80 Celsius and added 50 grams of Mosaic. And this was dry hopped. Yeah, and he did this, we talked about. He lowered the the temperature after fermentation to 14C and dried hopped. And there he added 200 grams of hops. 50 grams of Citra, 50 grams of Mosaic, 50 grams of Amarilla, 50 grams of Simcoe Lupulin 2. And then he cold crashed it and kegged it. So in this beer we have Chinook, Amarillo, Citra, Mosaic. So like 4 hops. Citra, Mosaic, Amarillo, Simcoe. Sorry, 5 hops. My tip, and this was fermented with the Nottingham yeast. So there you have the recipe. So my suggestion, oops, it was an empty bottle. So my suggestion is to maybe not do like so many different kinds of hops. You could do it if you just after like a hoppy taste, but if you after like specific taste from specific hops, maybe hold it down to like 2 finishing hops and 1 bittering hop. If you're just adding some Magnum at 60 to finish up the IBUs from your finishing hops, or pushed into 3. But when you're pushing it to like 5 hops, I think it will be like it doesn't mean that the beer will be bad, but it's gonna be hard to like pick up any flavors. It's just gonna be like a hoppy flavor, if you understand me. And I've done the same myself when I experimented with this, because when you're adding a lot of hops, you do get that like special taste that you do from hops, because many hops have the like a side note to them that aren't pleasing, at least not pleasing to everyone. Yes, Mosaic have the like burnt or like rubbery tire thingy, and yeah, Chrysler is on the same page there. And Amarillo like have like the cattiness, and Galaxy has the same like a Mosaic side note to it, and Citra has its own like, I don't know how to like describe it. I don't think it's catty, but I heard some people say that. But I have like this, I call it like a chewiness, but that doesn't mean like anything. So if you don't want like those side notes to take over, you could do this to add like small amounts of different hops to build up just like this hoppiness, but then you don't get like the flavors so much because they are all like drowning each other. So you could just try 2 hops instead, and as I said, if you want a bittering hop, so maybe you do like in this case Simcoe and Chinook, because I think they're the better choice than the Mosaic. So Simcoe, Chinook, and then you can add whatever you want at 60 to bring up your IBUs if you need it. Cheers. But really nice brew there from Timmi Jenkins. And as I said, I met Timmi Jenkins at the London Craft Beer, and I have booked my tickets for next year. So I hope to see you again, Timmi, if you will be watching this. So, how to improve on this one? This needs like more body. It, according to Timmi's paper, did not ferment out like super low, but this needs to be a little bit bigger. Alcohol wise, it's in the like goldy lock zone, around 6%. So it's not boozy. Yes, here comes Berlin Basement Brewery's Michael's answer. Late answer regarding the gusher. A gusher could come from overcarbing, yeah, and or too many small particles in the bottle that from different reasons act as nucleation points for the CO2 bubbles. Yeah, okay, I get what you mean. I haven't thought about that. So you googled it, didn't you, Michael? Yeah, of course, because yeah, it could be other facts. Because if I shake the bottle, it's not from overcarbing; it's from agitation. And could the higher amount of particles agitate the beer, so it would gush from that? It feels like a long shot, but you might be right. I can't prove you wrong. It just I think that this beer, which is almost at the out of the best before date, and of course I'm not saying that I'm not saying that you mean actually this beer, but I think in this case it has been overcarved because this has continued to ferment in the bottle as it has been stored warm. But you may be onto something, Michael. I don't say that you aren't. Wheat beers have a lot of carbonation to them. They also have a lot of particles in them, yeast particles floating, but they are very high carb beer, so they will give you a big head. Of course, I read about it. Yes, of course you did. There's nothing wrong with that. So, have anyone else brewed a Black IPA? I know that Jonas Walker has brewed Black IPA. Esbjörn from Öltid haven't brewed a Black IPA. Make some research, Doc. Of course, you just added it as reason not saying wrong. No, and I'm not saying you're wrong either, Michael. It's not that. Of course, you should make research and try it for yourself. And what you're saying is not impossible. I just don't think it's the case with this beer. But yeah, it could be. Cheers. So we almost like crushed this beer and are soon ready for the third beer. I'm starting to like regret this now because this was like 7.5% and this is 6.3%, and the last one is somewhere in the middle there. But I promised I promised to do it. So I will try to do it. And after this live stream, as I said, I have to take the video down because I've started like the stream to test out everything in advance. So we have this like long period that I think will go up. So you learn from it. I'm really like new to this streaming thing, so I will have to learn. I had some problem last time with the chat because I wanted to use this layout that's working today, because that's actually also, this should trigger another thing that I have in hand. So if we should get like super chat, and or if we should get like a donation, something like that, that would trigger something over here. And yeah, so I've been working with that. So I think that will work because the chats are working this time. Last time it didn't work, so I had to import a new browser window to sort it out so we could get the stream rolling. But this time the chat are working. No toilet breaks, Doc. I haven't had one. Don't think I will need it. I'm an experienced beer drinker, you know. Just did a small break for rinsing the glass, and I had some water off camera between the beers, but I don't think I will need a toilet break. You guys need a toilet break? When I get more comfort in this streaming thing, I will try to put up some more cool things for you guys. But in the meantime, this time I do have, but I don't know if it's working. But if someone would, I'll not say that you have to do it, but I say that it's a possibility. I hope that's nice live of steel. Yes. There you have it. I have these DrHans brewer stickers. So I hope it will work, but I don't know. So if someone would like do a super chat, or if they would follow the link in the description and do a donation, hopefully both of them would work. Maybe not, I don't know, but that should trigger like a spinning wheel. And if the spinning wheel get triggered, not like a spinning wheel, more like a one-armed bandit, like that type of thing. And if that spinning wheel should show up with 3 DrHans Brewery logos, that lucky fellow will win a DrHans Brewery sticker. But I don't know if it works. We will see if we get any like super chat. I think that's available, or if someone finds the donation link in the description. But really, I think I will check it out. But I think the super chat thingy is active. It should be. It looks active. Okay, let's close up the window. Live is good. I'm just super lucky. No, lucky. I'm just super happy that I got the chat working. And because it's triggered a little bit differently, like a normal chat window. I did get the chat working in the last video, but that was a temporary fix. And I had, the last time I did like a stream, Harry Burl, love the way you say yeast. Yeah, yeast. I think it's because I don't know if it's you that have said it before, but I have heard before, it might be you, Harry. Yeah, I say yeast. I think it's because of the Swedish word for yeast is jäst. Jäst. So I think it's because of that. Jäst in Swedish, yeast. So this was also very nice beer from Timmi. Also, like the bandit should be triggered from like if I got a new subscriber and everything like that. I don't see it. Up here you see that's picking up from Patreon. Sorry, there it's one with this mirror thingy. So what you see here is from Patreon now. But that will also change out if anything else happened. If like we got a super chat or donation, something like that, that would change with that name, and it should trigger. Where are there? It should trigger the one-armed bandit wheels to start spinning. But there are two kinds of gaming machines that are rigged up. So if it's for super chat or for donations, it will trigger the wheel that has the logo on it and a lot of brewing stuff. Yes, I will try another beer. I will try the one from Introvert Brewing. It's called Smoky Mirrors. Sorry. So I will go and rinse the glass, play some music for you. I will have a glass of water as well to clean the palate. So see you guys in a bit. Cheers. Okay guys, so third beer. I've rinsed the glass and had a glass of water. So, Introvert Brewing, Smoke and Mirrors, Cascadian Dark Ale, 6.5% ABV. Gonna read the label here. Pale Ale, Melanodian, Caramalt 150, Midnight Wheat, Black Malts, Centennial Chinook, and Tyneke hops, and Imperial dry hop yeast. Okay, the Tyneke hops I don't know anything about. Centennial and Chinook, yeah, sounds good in a Black IPA. Tyneke must be a New Zealand hop. Do you know anything about Tyneke hops? Okay, so this is from Introvert Brewing. The brewer is called Johan. I have had a lot of his beers before. I know he's a very, very good brewer. So I saved this for last. So I have really good expectation from this. This is bottle condition. I can see some stuff in the bottle there, in the bottom of the bottle. No, you don't see it because it's focusing on me. Did you see? Yeah, I think you saw it. Yes, you see that white line there in the bottle. In the bottom, in the bottom, in the bottle of the bottom. In the in the bottom of the bottle. Yeah. So, third beer. Smoke and Mirrors. Okay, let's get this one into a glass. Very, very good hiss. But it's not a gusher. Okay. Sorry. Label out. So I will try to pour this gently. I'm gonna check the spelling. Okay, I will leave some behind there. It's a very good looking beer. How does the hop spell? I'm gonna spell it out for you. I can write it in the chat as well. Give me a moment. T A I H E K I. So, yeah, label out. So, Taiheke, Taiheki. You have it there in the live chat. Hopefully. Michael loves the label out thing. Okay, so the beer. This looks very good. We have a very dark looking beer. We're gonna shine through it as well to see how it looks. Have a one finger, like a light brown to beige head. This has more aroma than the last one. Okay, so this is a little bit better looking. This is more like black. I think you saw it. I'll show you again. So this is more like black. So it's very good looking beer. And head is dying off as I speak. Krister head looks good. Yeah, it looked good, but it's dying off. So why if you've done beer reviews on video, you should know when you're doing it live, it's much harder. Sorry. Okay, so it's not like a super on the aroma. I do get like the dark malts, some hops. Oh, Jonas is back. Awesome. Yeah, it's really beautiful beer, Michael. Cheers, Jonas. Okay, let's dive in. I think because I don't think I can pick so much out from it. I have the recipe for this one also, so we're gonna go through the recipe as we taste the beer. Oh, sorry guys, as I taste the beer, but you will see me drink it, and I will go through the recipe. Okay, has a very good mouthfeel. It might be. It's a little bit too roasty, I think, for being Black IPA. It's not into like stout territory, but it is a bit roasty. Yeah, he called it Cascadian Dark Ale, by the way, and a Cascadian Dark Ale and a Black IPA is the same thing, really, but a Cascadian Dark Ale sounds so much cooler than a Black IPA. And if you read about it, there's also some people having a discussion of like you could break up the Cascadian Dark Ale from the Black IPA into like two separate routes. But in the bottom, at start, they are the same: a Cascadian Dark Ale and a Black IPA. It's not like it's super roasty, but it has some of this roastiness. Very clean fermented beer. Good level of carbonation. Has some boostiness to it. It's like 6.5, so you could take it down like a notch to like 6 maybe. This was Timmi Jenkins was like 6.3, and it has had no boostiness at all. So 6.3 to 6.5, there's no like difference maybe. But there is a boostiness to it. It would have been better without it. And it has some roastiness, which draws it a little bit away from being a Black IPA. But I'm being very, very picky now, because I know that Johan wants it that way, the brewer. Gonna see what happens in the chat. Cheers, Michael. Jonas Walker got an Imperial Brown in the glass from Poppels, Project 15. Okay, cool. How is the Imperial Brown from Poppels, Jonas? Cheers. I've got a Cascadian Dark Ale from Introvert Brewing in the glass. Cheers. like I said, I know I'm being very picky about this beer. It's a really good beer, and yeah, it has a hint of roastiness, which I had preferred it if it had took that down a bit, and has a little bit boostiness, but it's gonna pick a winner here today. It's of course it's gonna stand between the homebrews. I did not really like the NAUT Black IPA from the Swedish brewery, Modernist brewery, the Comercial beer. The Timmi Jenkins beer, really good beer, but it was a bit thin. And this beer, on the other hand, from Introvert Brewing, I really enjoy it, but it is a bit boozy and a bit roasty. Not very roasty, just a hint of it, really. So somewhere in the middle there, because this has a very good mouthfeel. This was a little bit thin, but both of them are like really good beers. And Burnley Basement Brewery wrote, I also like less roasty black IPAs better. Yes, I think a black IPA shouldn't be about roastiness, but they should be about dark malt. So that's why I'm saying to use like dehusked malts like the Carafa 3 and Midnight Wheat, like Timmi used. He used the Carafa 3 and Midnight Wheat in this one, and that's a perfect example of the sorry. Ooh, it's carved. That's a perfect example of a smooth black IPA. So let's have a look at the recipe and see what he used for the roastiness. If he used Midnight Wheat and Carafa 3, I'm into troubles. Okay, let's have a look at the recipe. I could show you the recipe, but I don't know if it will work that great. Should we try it? Let me first find the recipe here. Not there. That's the recipe. Okay, I'm gonna try it. No, I don't, because I don't think I've hooked up the source for the audio for that. I'm not sure, but let's do it anyway. Here goes nothing. Let's try it. So I have to jump back and forward so you will see some shitty things. So that's the screen. I don't know if it's working. It should be working. So now you see the screen and you don't want to see that. Let's move forward over to the recipe. I hope you see it now. If you don't, this will be like a very bad live stream. And yeah. Okay, Smoke and Mirrors by Johan H. Hallberg, brewed 10th July 2018. So this is a 13-liter batch. He used, here's his water additions, we won't go through that. 3.5 kilos of pale ale malt, that's 87.5%. Just 100 grams of Melanodium malt, that's 2.5%. He used 100 grams of Viking caramel, 150, that's 2.5%. He used wheat, midnight wheat roasted. Okay. Steeped, 6.3%. And he used 15 grams of black crisp malt. 1.3%. Okay, so we did use the midnight wheat malt. I never used that much of it really. I have used more of the, I think in my best Black IPA I used like 300 grams of Carafa 3, dehusked, very dark grain. Okay, because of this 50 grams of black malt, it ain't much. At 60 he used Centennial and Chinook. I don't know really why to use like two different hops at 60. And at 10 minutes he used 10 grams of Centennial, 10 grams of Chinook. And at 0 minutes he used Tahiki, 50 grams, and 10 grams of Centennial, 10 grams of Chinook. And this was dry hopped with 65 grams of Centennial, 50 grams of Tahiki, and 30 grams of Chinook. It's quite an odd hop schedule, I think, but it worked. So 1062 to 1014, 6.4% according to the estimated measured. Okay, I don't know if this is correct, so I won't go through that. I will think that the one that Johan wrote on the bottle is the correct thing. Here is some brewer's notes. OG 1067, it's quite high. SG 1018, this was, according to Johan's notes, called cold crash for 3 weeks due to water, say, lack of water. It was a very dry summer, so okay, so this ended at 1018. It's not sweet. It has a very good mouthfeel to it. It's very well balanced beer. Some more notes here. Oh, taste notes. I'm giving up. I'm going to translate it. This is in Swedish. I'm giving up. It's not the Black IPA I'm after. Maybe I should only be brewing a normal IPA with a minimal amount of minute wheat for the color. And just a hinge of black patent. Okay, so let's go back to the main. Hope that worked. Have a look at the chat. This may be an old question. Which dark grain do you have as your favorite? Jonas, I presume we're talking like a black IPAs now. And I have tried with success Carafa 3 in black IPAs, worked great. And I also tried Carafa 3 with a smaller amount of midnight wheat, and that also worked very, very good. So that would be my suggestion, my favorite black malt. But actually, if I'm just like adding a small amount of black malt for color, I usually just go for a fist of chocolate malt. But yeah, I hope that answered your questions. Let me see if I have anything in the chat. Okay. So this time it's a little bit slower in the chat. So yeah, Jonas, I got the approval from Jonas that I answered his question. Great. So this time the chat is a little bit slower than my first live stream. So this time I think I got around to answer most of the questions, because the first time it was a little more hectic, and yeah, I missed a lot of questions there. Sorry about that, folks. It is what it is. Cheers. Banley Basement Brewery, great job with the live, Johnny. Gonna spend the rest eating with the other family. Have a great evening, everybody. Yes, cheers, Michael. Thanks for stopping by. Have a lovely evening with your family. Hope you put a good flick on, something like that. Cheers. And yeah, we don't have so much left here. So if anyone have any else question about black IPAs, I could like round this video up with the tips I mentioned in this brew. I think in this video. Sorry, guys. So like, tip number 1 for brewing a black IPA. Aim for like 6%. Don't be afraid to use a little amount of sugar or corn or rice, something like that, if you want to bump the ABV up higher. But I think like the Goldilocks zone is around 6%. Nice live session, Doc. Thanks, Jonas. Thanks for stopping by. And for the color, and it's not about just the color, it's about the dark grains meeting the hops, what happens there. My suggestion would be to use like Carafa 3, and if you want to experiment, try like a small amount of midnight wheat, something like that, to it. And add the dark grains at mash out. What you do in the end, or like do steep. If you're doing whatever you do, if you're doing a brew in a bag, if you do a partial extract, whatever you do, don't steep your dark grains over 20 minutes. If it's a black IPA, I do 10 minutes. But never steep your dark grains over 20 minutes. And okay, that's not the truth, but I have been experimenting with brewing, and if I do a stout and I do 20 minutes, it's gonna be smooth stout. So, but never do like 60 minutes with the dark grains. And you also might think of that if you are using like darker caramel malts as well. Maybe you shouldn't add them at start. I really haven't had any issues with adding them for the full mash, but I'm just saying you could get your mindset on that and try it. Might give you a better beer that needs less conditioning time. And for hops, maybe not do too many different hops. But you could do it. You could split the hops up, but you will get more like a hoppy taste to it, and it doesn't mean that it's bad. I think if you go and watch my best Black IPA recipe, you will find the playlist in the description. I think I did that. I did break it up into small amounts of different hops, and that will work. That will give you that hoppy, big hoppiness without. So I'm looking at the chat. Yeah, we did 10-minute mash out with the dark grains. Awesome, Jonas. So by splitting up the hops into small amounts of different hops, they will give you like this hop taste, but you will not get like, oh, it's like grapefruit, oh, it's like pineapple. Yeah, you get it. It's just like tastes like hops, but you don't either get like strong cattiness from one hop or strong like burnt tire or spare tire from one hop, and like that either. So but then again, you don't really learn much from those brews if you're into that. So you have to decide for yourself there if you want to learn, maybe use like 2 finishing hops, or if you want to like spread it out to get a hoppiness and don't get the extra notes from the hops, which can be intrusive to some tasters. And yeah, of course, always in brewing, there's like good sanitation, good healthy pitch with the yeast. You could pick yeast here, which is like clean finishing, not really after like an English strain, more like an American strain, or just something. Or you could pick a strain that actually produce some flavor you want into the Black IPA. There's so many options, guys. And yeah, of course, good brewers practice. So guys, I think that's it. If you are new to this channel, please consider becoming a subscriber. If you want even more content, there's also my Patreon page to watch out for. You have watch out for to look onto if there's something that will tick you. I do put a lot of recipes up there. All my recipes goes up on the Patreon, and the recipes I got here will also goes up on the Patreon page. So you will find it all there, and I do more like a vlog style there when you get more behind the scenes what actually happens here at DrHans Brewery. But yeah, thanks so much for joining into the chat, and yeah, being here with me tonight. And yeah, don't want to say cheers, guys. Thanks for watching. DrHans out. Thanks, Diane Ross.